They say you could find inspiration from someone else's story, and so I'm gonna walk you through my freelance journey from working a corporate job, earning about $50,000 a year in my 9 to 5, all the way to making $250,000 over the last 4 years every year, alongside learning the best models and principles of actually doing business. As you grow in this industry as a business owner, it's like learning how to swim, but the way you get better at swimming is hopping into a pool. This is why I don't believe in business degrees. Even though I got one, big mistake, but even though I got one, I don't believe in them. It has not helped me at all, and most people who want to do business just need to do business, not go get a degree in business. So let's talk about my freelance journey from 2016 to 2023. And I'm gonna walk you through the highs and lows, the key aspects of my business and my life that really affected everything I was doing and how I was growing. So let me actually start at 2014. Let's backtrack a bit. It's 2014, I just graduated college with an international business degree and could not find a job. That was a horrible, really difficult experience. I probably in my life, if I ever felt depressed, was in that season, those next like 6 months. Anyway, fast forward a bit, I got my first corporate job 2015, halfway through 2015. And that was a blessing. Honestly, at the time, it was a huge blessing. And it's what got me into like Google Ads, which was really, really cool. Because at the time I had no experience or no idea about it. But the first day on the job, I was taken in as a data entry person. And then they literally switched my job to Google Ads expert, where I basically just sat at coffee shops and called Google Ads like support team and just talked to them all day long in San Francisco or like wherever they were at the time, and talk to them about like, how do you do this? What about this? What does this mean? How do I think about this? And I learned everything about Google Ads I could. So let's fast forward a bit now to the beginning of this journey. It's about 2016. I've been working this corporate job for 1.5 years, and I feel like it's time to quit. Do I have a backup plan? No. Do I have enough money to quit? No. But it's the right time to quit. Side note, I don't recommend that. I recommend like starting side hustles, especially in 2023, and bringing in an income before you quit your corporate job. Even if you hate it, that's the fuel to the fire that will make sure you work those extra hours to quit. But basically, halfway through August of 2016, I quit my corporate job and I started to freelance. And it was such a good feeling, you know, to like start freelancing and like try this new lifestyle. I happened to get really lucky. As soon as I quit, there was an agency that we had hired when I was working at this corporate job, who then hired me as a remote freelancer for like 20 hours a week, which brought income in. And then that's where I started my freelance career. So we'll go up on the chart if we're going like on mountain high and valley low experiences. This was a mountain high. I got hired, I was working remotely, I can control my schedule, but at the same time, I was able to try to freelance, like actually freelance, because I had more time and availability to do it. I just had to figure it out, and I didn't realize what I said in the beginning of this whole conversation, which is you have to swim like in the ocean or in a pool to learn how to swim. Even if you read 10 business books, like that's cool. And like, even if you got a business degree, that's cool. But honestly, some of that might convolute your mind to think you actually know something that you know nothing about. The reality was I did 6 years for a business program and knew nothing about real business. My cousin said this to me once, like recently, and I love this quote. The scariest person isn't the person who like knows something really well. It's the person who thinks they know something, but they don't really. An example of that is someone who's been driving for like a year. They're like, yeah, I get this. I know how to drive well, but they really don't. They've just started out. And so in this example, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I literally had no idea. And by God's grace, that is what like really sustained me and made sure I had money through that whole time. So let's add some more color to this story. When I quit my corporate job, making $50K a year, I was earning about 3,000, like actual take-home cash was 3,100 per month. I probably spent 2,000 on like bills and like paying off stuff. And then like I had like maybe 700 to 1,000 where I'd pay off a credit card. When I quit, I had 18,000 and a half of credit card debt under my name because of college and stupid purchases. Half of it was college, half of it was stupid purchases. The challenge I faced when I was working my corporate job, I disliked it so much, and I used money in a very unhealthy way because it was kind of a response to just like, I'm so dissatisfied in life that I need other things to like fill me. It's kind of the idea of like escapism. I quit my 9-to-5, earning $50K a year, and I started freelancing. And I had this like remote job where I was working like 20 hours a week, kind of part-time, but like it's bringing in like $2,000 roughly a month, like take home. So that's covering all my bills, right? So all my bills are covered. But then I'm trying to land website design projects, and I literally cannot land one. 9 months and I had no clients. I was getting really bummed out because by like month 7 or 8, I just was like, I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm not making enough money. I have way too much time on my hands, and I would love to earn more, but I'm not figuring out a way to do this. So 9 months of no clients leads to about end of March 2017. And my friend, I remember this phone call so vividly. We're on the phone, I'm literally sitting on the floor in my room, like just bummed out. And he's like, what's going on? How's life? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I really just want to like get more freelance jobs, but I can't land anything. He said, why don't you run Google Ads for yourself? And I'm like, what does that even mean? And then I was like, that's not gonna work. So I don't trust it. I don't believe in it. I don't even feel like it's gonna work. Like literally, I'm like, I run ads to my website, but like, will people even see that like it's legit? How's that gonna work? Anyway, I reluctantly, keyword here, reluctantly try it. I build the ad campaign on like a Monday or a Tuesday. It launches within the next 24 hours. By Thursday, I get my first lead. Guys, this is unreal. Literally, I had tried so many other methods, got zero traction. I start running ads, boom, I got traction. It worked. I finally found something that clicked. And as soon as it clicked, the first project I landed, I got an email from somebody who's like, I want to build a website, give me a call. I was like, all right, I don't even know what to talk about, but let's talk. Right before I do this phone call, my friend, I talked to him and I'm telling him he's freelance for a few years, and I say, how do you do this? Like, what do I talk about on the call? And he tells me all this stuff. But one thing he said, he's like, it sounds like this client might not have a logo. So ask him if they have a logo. And if they don't, do an upsell for $500 and design a logo for them. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm trying to wrap my head around all of this. And this is just so much, everything's new to me. And I've never asked somebody for money. And now I'm gonna ask somebody for $500. Like, this is wild. Like, this is all brand new to me. So I get on the phone call, I talk to the client, and he picks my biggest website package that I had just like built. Like, I had never done it before, but he picked the biggest package, which was $1,500. At the end of the call, I'm like, hey, do you have a logo, or do you need a logo? And he's like, oh, I would love a logo. How much does that cost? And I'm thinking 500 in my head, but I'm like, I don't know, 250. And so he's like, yeah, let's do that. So boom. It was a 17-minute phone call, and I landed a $1,750 project. My mind was blown. That was the end of March. I launched that project by my birthday, which was April 4th. And then that same week of my birthday, I got a new project. The next week I got 2 more. And lo and behold, within 100 days of landing that first project, I paid off $20,000 of debt. Literally just doing project after project and just working like anything that came in, I took. This was a wild moment because it had just finally opened up, and my eyes had opened up to this potential of this freelancing side. I still had this $2,000 a month coming in that was covering all my bills. So all this website worked. I wasn't buying clothes. I wasn't balling out. I wasn't going out with the homies having nice meals or any of that. I took all that money and paid off debt. As soon as I paid off debt, it was about August of that year. That's when I officially started my business. But this is where things got complicated. I quit my 9 to 5 because I wasn't happy and I wanted more freedom. But over the next 2 years or so, I worked myself into a job that took more hours and more time, and I had way less freedom than when I worked my 9 to 5. I was working weekends, I wasn't eating healthy, I was waking up and working from basically 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. It was chaos. My schedule had overtaken me. So we've gone through these like highs and lows. I started freelancing, this is so cool, but like it's been 9 months and I'm not landing a project. Then I land a project and then I pay off $20,000 of debt. But then over the next like 18 months, I'm working myself into this cycle of like, my whole life is determined by clients. Even on vacations, I remember I went to Switzerland and I couldn't even enjoy it because I was so caught, there was so much work that I was like moving through. I just had all these client projects happening at the same time. It was so much. Fast forward to 2020, I took a break, and then the world decided to take a break with me. But I took a break in January of 2020 to take a sabbatical. As I was on sabbatical, the rest of the world decided to join me. And so those first 6 months gave me a lot of time to really try to determine where I wanted to take my business next. That year, 2019, I earned about $250,000 doing just freelancing. And most of it I saved. I saved a ton of money, so it gave me space in 2020 to like think. Then, because of the pandemic, I ended up starting an SEO business because everybody wanted to show up on search who had a website, who wasn't thinking about search before, and now it was even more important than ever before. And so that's where I started this productized service. If you don't know what that term means, look it up. Maybe I might have other content. I will create other content on it in the future, but a productized service is basically a service that is spelled out in a specific list of things that are gonna get done for the client. And so we have, since 2019, averaged about $250,000 every single year running this business, running from freelancing to making it more of a productized service to now having a lot more digital products and courses and a whole team that is now operational for all of this to run. So my time is pretty flexible. I'm actually in a full-time Bible college at this time as well while I'm running this team because I've created this lifestyle that gives me the flexibility so I have the freedom that I'm looking for. And if you're part of the Squarespace Designer Framework, that's what you're building towards. Now, this is the big thing I want you to like really understand if you're trying to build freedom as a freelancer, and why I shared my whole journey. Most people promote, if you see what they're selling, they're gonna promote to you the end of the journey, but they don't talk about how much work it took to get there. And so I wanted to really highlight to you that there were a lot of 12-hour days that led me to working 2 hours a day. And so I just want to encourage you that it is very much possible, but there are going to be hard, difficult parts that you work through. Now, I just want to be very, very clear. This doesn't mean it has to be difficult. There just will be times where you're kind of just working really hard to build something and it doesn't feel like it's working right away. If it does, great, awesome, I love it. But sometimes you just have to build and literally be in the trenches. I don't know how else to say it. If you listen to someone like Alex Hormozi, he'll tell you there was a year and a half that they were in the trenches, him and his wife. If you listen to Gary Vee, he'll tell you there was a season that he was in the trenches. Grant Cardone was in the trenches for almost 50 years. No one knew his name. You can't look at his success today and not realize that he did real estate and selling for almost 20 to 30 years before anyone knew his name, before the majority of his fortune was built. He was like 47, I think he says, when he got married. We often overlook the building phase and just see this like, oh yeah, I'm like, this part's so sexy and it's so cool. But there's so much more that goes into this that we need to consider as you're having this conversation. This freelancer journey is different for everyone. I hope that it doesn't take you 9 months to land your first project. I hope it happens in the first week. But if it doesn't, don't be upset and don't get frustrated. I would explain it like this. It's a process of you planting seeds. And sometimes you plant a seed and you see it sprout right away, but sometimes you plant a seed and it sprouts, but it takes a really long time before it grows to a mature state where it can produce fruit. And so you just gotta consider that. Sometimes things just take longer to grow. I hope you get it in the first month, but if it doesn't happen in the first month, and it might take 2 or 3 tries, and it might take 2 or 3 different like marketing tactics, like trying advertising or trying it on Fiverr or trying it on 99 Designs or trying it on whatever platform that makes sense for what you're trying to do. It might just take a few iterations before you get there. And so try new things and don't get upset if it doesn't work the first time. You are learning not just how to make some money designing and freelancing, you are learning the art of business. And once you learn this art, you can do this in any form or fashion. So these are my tips from my freelance journey from 2016 to 2023 that I feel can really help you grow and thrive in whatever industry or whatever part of the work that you're doing is, and really gain the experience, knowledge, and longevity that will help not just you, but your spouse, your kids, your future family, whatever that might be. This could be the starting point of it. And so have high hope, come back to your why, define your why, and come back to that over and over again. And this process will be so cool because your freelance journey will not look like mine. It might resemble mine in some ways, but your freelance journey is yours, and you're the one who gets to write this cool, amazing story. So have fun with it. Have fun with it and have fun with it.